Would you look at this fucking town? It's dead. Imagine how many people out there right now are fucking, man. Just going at it. If you can picture that in your head, take that same head, and you know what it's time to do with that head. Because it's episode 56 of The Real Rush. You take that head and you bang your head to the opening riff. This Halloween about to have motherfuckers up in Baltimore laying around in alleys and shit, shooting up candy corn like it's smack. We rolling? We rolling? Oh, hey, we rolling. Hey, we rolling! What's up, y'all? Hey! It's your boy J-Dub, and welcome to episode 56! Episode 56 of The Real Rush, right here on YouTube. Even though it's not episode 55 no more, I'm still trying to do my boy Sarah Hagar mighty proud. So anywho, let's see what's happening on this episode of The Real Rush right here this week. We hit a couple of milestones, I say you could say, depending on the priority or the major level status, whatever you want to have them. Yeah, it's irrelevant. Well, not necessarily irrelevant, but take it for what you like. So, as of this past Thursday, and I didn't even recognize this till my boy said something, but, you know, because the boy was like, hey, it's Thursday, you must be going to the movies tonight. I said, you damn right, because it's Thursday. Well, that makes 135 Thursdays in a row that your boy has been at the theater as part of The Real Rush. Hence, 145 weeks in a row that your boy has been at the theater as part of The Real Rush. Streak still going strong. As of this episode, as of the end, well, yeah, so as of the reviews at the end of this episode, but since I've already seen the movies that I'm about to review for you, that I'm about to lay that smackdown on, since I've already seen those movies, as of this episode, that means that for this season so far, so season 3 of The Real Rush, as a whole, because I've only been on YouTube for a little bit over a year, but Real Rush has been going strong for almost 3 years now. So season 3, as a whole, 165 movies seen total thus far. That is one more than my total record of movies seen for season 1 of The Real Rush. That season ended at 164 movies, and last season's ended at 215. So, the question being that has arisen here in like a phoenix from the ashes is, will your boy be able to break last season's record of 215 movies seen in the theater by these eyes, no repeats, never before seen in one season? I have until, I believe, January 19th, I think, to get this done. If my date on that is incorrect, I'll most certainly let you know about that. But that gives us just, let's see, today being, what the hell is today as we shoot this? Today is Saturday, October 26th as we shoot this, so that gives us just a little bit under 3 months to complete that feat. And all in all, speaking as The Real Rush as a whole, all 3 seasons totaling thus far 544 total movies seen in the theater, all never before seen by these eyes, no repeats. Yeah. So, let's go ahead and keep that rolling, baby. So, as of those 544 total movies, and as of the 165 total movies of this season that I've seen so far, I got 5 of those reviewed for y'all this episode. And which 5 do I have reviewed for y'all this episode? Let's go ahead and get on down to that brass tacks and get on down to what movie do I want to do first up on this episode's Real Rush Ticket. I think I want to go ahead and start things off with the new satirical dramedy of sorts. I'm going to go ahead and call it a dramedy. This is the one that most people have been wanting to know about, that they've expressed the most interest in. And I am talking about the new Taika Waititi joint, Jojo Rabbit. the story of a young boy growing up World War II, Nazi Germany, and he's being prepped and preened and groomed, to follow in the footsteps of the Nazis and the leader at the time, Mr. Adolf Hitler. And since he looks up to Hitler as this huge role model and this huge inspiration, he finds Hitler as an imaginary friend to him of sorts, played by Taika Waititi. Now, things come into the boy comes into a little bit of a conflict, I suppose you could say, when it finds out that his mother, played by Scarlett Johansson, has been hiding a Jewish girl in their walls throughout this entire time. Jewish girl, played by Thomasin McKenzie, and a little boy, I should say, played by Roman Griffin Davis. So now he's at a conflict. Does he follow, what his peers and all the adults that have been preening and prepping him have been telling him all these years, that he is to be Nazi? Or, should he follow his heart and follow his more human side, as he may or may not be befriending said Jewish refugee in his walls there? So as I stated, we have in this movie Roman Griffin Davis, we have Taika Waititi, we have Thomasin McKenzie, we have Scarlett Johansson, Alfie Allen, what's his nuts? Sam Rockwell, Stephen Merchant, just all over cast, all over the place. And this, I wanted to kick this off just as sure as every once in a while a WrestleMania will kick off with the World Heavyweight Championship. I wanted to kick off this week's episode of The Real Rush here on YouTube with Jojo Rabbit, because Jojo Rabbit is this week's pick for Rush movie of the week. And your boy's about to tell you why. Because just as sure as the trailer made you laugh and even tugged at your heartstrings a little bit, this is one of those rare instances where they didn't put all the good stuff in the trailer. There's more to be seen on the screen. When you go to see Jojo Rabbit, it does make you laugh and it does make you cry at some points. It's very heartwarming at some points. The screenplay, awesome. The performances in it are off the chain, so much so that I want to go ahead and say that I'm not officially stating that yes, he should get some type of nomination for this, but I wouldn't say I wouldn't see it. What's the word I'm looking for? Well, let's go ahead and put it this way. I would say Taika Waititi's performance as Hitler, an imaginary friend version of Hitler, just may be worthy of that Best Supporting Actor nomination in this. Yeah, well done movie, well done. Lived up to all my expectations. Outside of Thor Ragnarok, I had never seen any of Taika Waititi's other films, so I still need to see Hunt for the Wilder People as well as What We Do in the Shadows. They've both been on my queues for the longest time, but this has piqued my interest into looking into this man's work even that much more. The soundtrack choice for the movie, just on point. It doesn't fit with the times of the movie, but it does. And that's the best way that I could put it. There's even some shocking moments in it, and this is one of the rare instances where when it happens, that when I was sitting in the theater at the Angelica watching this on Friday evening, that not only did you hear the audience, the breath being taken out of the audience, but you felt it in the atmosphere. And that's a very rare emotion to be captured or to be part of in a theater setting. So if that is a speak leaps and bounds for what this film is bringing to the table, ladies and gents, I don't know what does. Would I say that the film overall would be an awards or Oscar caliber movie? I wouldn't quite go thus far overall. However, it's not terribly too far from it. So, Jojo Rabbit, my pick, Rush movie of the week. This is in quasi-wide release. It's not playing at every theater, At least not every theater that excuse me, that I am familiar with in my DC metropolitan locality here of Prince William City, but it's certainly playing at a good number of theaters and a great number of showings, and a lot of people are coming out. If the Friday night audience at the Angelica is of any indication, that was at a 5:40 showing, and there were a fair amount of people at that showing. And that was before the Nats game even came on. So boom, people are coming out to see this. So yes, you should do the same. Follow suit. Jojo Rabbit. Find it where it is playing. Check your IMDb. Check your Fandango, and definitely see some Jojo Rabbit. It's unlike any movie that has. I don't want to necessarily say that has been released this year, but it's a different style of dramedy than what you're normally seeing. Yeah, is that how I want to say it? That you're used to. Get yourselves a different flavor. Boom. Jojo Rabbit, a different flavor for that ass. Find it where it is playing, ladies and gents. Next up on this episode's Real Rush Ticket, let's go ahead and go to this next new film from director Deon Taylor, who helmed last year's Traffic with Omar Epps and Paula Patton, and also helmed this year's Intruder with Dennis Quaid and Mike Ealy and Megan Good. This one is a new thriller from the same director, as I just stated. Excuse me, a couple moments ago, Mr. Deon Taylor. This one is called Black and Blue. Now this follows Naomi Harris. She portrays a rookie New Orleans police officer, police department officer. And she just happens to witness a few of her colleagues straight up murk an informant or a drug dealer, or it doesn't matter. They just murked a straight up another human being. And because they see that they have witnessed her do this, you know, that she has witnessed them do this, they cap her ass too. But, you know, because she got on the armor, she survives. But she also had on that body cam. So they can't just, you know, chase after this woman and just like offer. They need to get that body cam, you know, make sure that footage doesn't, you know, get released to the public. But because she's dealing with corrupt officials, they got their ties all over New Orleans. So, you know, you never know who to trust in the area that they're working in. And she's gotta come down to a choice, you know? Is she gonna, you know, protect and serve and, you know, be truthful to her boys in blue and keep their trust? Or is she gonna have to turn to, you know, the people from the hood that she grew up with, but who are not necessarily trusting towards her because of the profession that she has chosen? So we got Naomi Harris, we got Tyrese Gibson, we got Frank Grillo. I believe that's about it as far as cast goes. And this is not a bad thriller. You can see where it's coming from, speaking on certain social issues these days and such. Decent, I would say. It was, how can I put it? I was expecting a little bit more, seeing as in that Traffic delivered more than what most were expecting from it, as well as The Intruder from earlier this year. So Deon Taylor's on fire. So overall, I would say that it doesn't quite meet the mark of Traffic and The Intruder, but it's just the same as, you know, Jojo Rabbit is not too far from meeting like an Oscar mark or anything. You know, Black and Blue is not, you know, too terribly far from meeting the marks. Still a pretty decent thriller, I would say. I would probably give this about a 6 on, you know, like an IMDb type scale. It did seem that some of the I don't know exactly how to put it here. There was just something missing. that there was just something missing. Like the action sequences were pretty good. You're not looking for this or gonna go see this for any type of like Oscar-worthy performances. Even though you do have Naomi Harris in it, and she does pull off, her share of performance, and Tyrese as well. I would say that he pulls off one of his better performances in his career. But there was just something. There's just something that it was lacking in its total substance that just made it a nail it home, edge of your seat thriller. So, for the average moviegoer, I would say you would probably want to matinee this one. But if you're a fan of Deion Taylor's works or of Miss Naomi Harris, just herself, then you can see this at any point. But for the average moviegoer, I would say matinee this one. But overall, decent thriller, as I said. Black and Blue. This one is playing everywhere, ladies and gents. So if you're interested in seeing Black and Blue, check out IMDb, check out Fandango for where you can catch your showtime of Black and Blue. Yeah. Next up on this episode's Real Rush Tickets. And please correct me if I am wrong in my live Instagram check-in for this movie, and when I was stating that this is the lone wide release horror film of this entire Halloween season. And I know there are a couple of horror flicks coming out after Halloween, but usually the trademark is the tradition here is to release the scary shit before Halloween to get people in the mood. But it doesn't seem like it's popping off that big of a. Where's the spirit, y'all? But anywho, lo and behold, here is our lone wide release horror movie of this Halloween season, and I'm talking about the new horror flick, Countdown. Countdown is about a nurse who downloads an app that tells you when you're gonna die. There's an app that is going around. It's very popular amongst the trendy. This is what's trending. This is what the app of the fucking week is here, y'all. Get the Countdown app. See how long you have to live. Well, it turns out that whoever's downloading this app is finding out that the countdown clock is rather true in its accuracy on when they're gonna die. So they spend the entire movie trying to outwit the app so they do not become a victim to the death clock. So I know I stated a couple weeks ago that more than likely, just because I normally am able to get some amount of entertainment or some form of positivity from most movies that I've seen this year, that more than likely there wasn't going to be a bottom 11 list come that time when we get to the end of this season, season 3. But if there were one, this movie would definitely make that list. I mean, it's got its jump scares and shit, but if you place those in the right place, those are going to scare you anyway. It couldn't decide whether or not it was taking itself seriously as a horror film, or it was trying to be one of those funny horror films. And it does have its funny moments in it. Tom Segura, the comedian from a lot of Netflix specials, shows up in this movie. And it's actually Tom Segura's character that saves this movie from being pretty much complete garbage. The motivation behind the app and how it's able to track people and stuff, it's explained, but it was kind of like nonsense. So maybe I just didn't disconnect my brain enough for this movie or something. But if it was a hit or miss, I would definitely put Countdown in pretty much the miss pile, unless you want to go see it straight up for the Tom Segura references, or if you're looking just to see your straight up B movie, and I mean B as in just about bad horror movie, and MST3K your way through it. Don't do that out loud in the theater. Do it to yourself. It does have that kind of, okay, so I guess I did find some type of entertaining value out of Countdown. But overall, wow. I was kind of walking away from that note, going like, yeah, so what was that? Yeah. Which is kind of sad, because I'm usually a fan of, those Final Destination-ish type movies, but I guess when you get to so many of them, and the fact that there have been so many movies that have been centered around apps and stuff, and 9 times out of 10 they are not the greatest one. There was one that came out last year that was centered around something social media-ish or app-ish or something like that, where the chick committed suicide, and then like her ghost was following them. I forget the name of the movie, but good God, it didn't leave that well of an impression, because I can't remember the name of the movie. So Countdown it's not quite as bad as that, or like Wish Upon from the year prior, but it ain't too far from it. So if you do need to get that horror movie fix, and this just happens to be playing in your area, take my words for what they're worth. See this one at your own risk. Don't say your boy didn't warn you. Or see it at your own enjoyment. Maybe you'll get something out of it more than I did. To each their own. But yeah, that's my verdict on Countdown there for you. Countdown to something else, because, man, you might as well go shoot smack with the people up in, or shoot candy corn like it's smack with the people up in Baltimore this Halloween or some shit. I don't know, but yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and move on to next up, or what's next up on this episode's Real Rush Ticket. Now, I am talking about the new biographical film called The Current War. This stars Benedict Cumberbatch as Thomas Edison, Michael Shannon as George Westinghouse, and Nicholas Hoult as Nikola Tesla. And it tells the story of the time in the late 1800s when it was Edison versus Westinghouse, literally on who was going to supply the nation with electricity. And not only, the awesome tale behind that, but the not so decent methods that were used by either man to get one leg up over the other. So it does tell a little bit more of the devious deeds that led to, the War of the Currents, and who won that War of the Currents. If you don't know your history on this one, like most historical films, I suggest you go into this one not knowing, so that way you get it. From what I gathered on it, it was a pretty accurate depiction. And you got Cumberbatch, you got Shannon, you got Holt, you even got Tom Holland up in there, you got Catherine Waterston up in it. Yes, very driven performances all around. I must say that this movie has been shelved for about 2 years or so. This was originally supposed to be distributed by the Weinstein Company, but after we found out 2 years ago that homeboy couldn't keep his dick in his pants, that this was unfortunately one of the casualties of it until we could find a distributor for it. But it turns out that this worked out in the movie's favor, because apparently the original cut of The Current War was not very well received, and producer Martin Scorsese had a clause in the contract that gave him final cut privilege. So that gave the director, Alfonso Gomez Rejon, he was able to get a little bit more budget for reshoots and re-editing, and the final product turned out to be fairly well. Again, is it quite, we know this is coming out around the Oscar season, is it quite that hardcore caliber? Not quite that much, but still a pretty good telling of, once again, the War of the Currents, and making it just human and very relatable to, you know, some of the ethics and shit that are going on these days in any walks of life. So yeah, this one, again, pseudo-wide, pseudo-limited release. We know that the Angelica's playing it because that's where I saw it as part of Friday Night Angelica this past Friday evening. But yeah, this one I would definitely say give this one a whirl. If you can, I would make this a double feature with Jojo Rabbit. I would go Current War first, then Jojo Rabbit. But if you go the other way, if it just happens to work that way, then it's not going to harm your flow or anything. But definitely Current War. I would say see this where you can, see it where you can find it, and enjoy yourself with this movie. Absolutely. The crowd that I was with at the Angelica, once again, a pretty packed crowd, given the fact that this was taking place during the Nats World Series game the Friday night. But yes, and the crowd seemed to enjoy this one as well. I even got to chat with a nice couple after the movie. And we got to speak about how when Edison got into the whole movie game, how his practices for, you know, making sure that theaters were using his methods of showing movies were not quite on the up and up. And I did remark how interesting, how we were basically talking how interesting there would be if there was like a sequel that was showing that, and how I've remarked that it sounded very Scorsese-ish, and that it's ironic that Martin Scorsese was an executive producer for this film. Yet I digress. But the Current War, ladies and gents, see it where you can find it in pseudo-limited release. Check it out. Won't be disappointed, y'all. Last but most certainly not least on this episode's Real Rush Ticket, we got ourselves another Fathom event that we got to check out this past Monday up at Virginia Gateway Regal in Gainesville. This joint was called QT8, the first 8, a documentary on my boy, Mr. Quentin Tarantino, featuring interviews from cast and crew members of all of his movies leading up to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It didn't quite touch, it touched a little bit on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but that was not one of the movies that was showcased as one of the 8 movies, since that is his 9th movie. But we had Michael Madsen, Tim Roth, Samuel L. Jackson, Robert Forster, may you rest in peace, good sir, Pam Grier, longtime collaborator Lawrence Bender, everybody, a whole slew of people from the Tarantino verse, and one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. I'm sure that I'm biased on it just because of the fact that the man is a literal god to me, but I love this documentary, just not only hearing the words of the people that have worked with him and worked with him closest and know him the best, but it confirmed a lot of my theories that I've had on a lot of his films over the years. His films to me are just like films that I can watch over and over and over again, like Pulp Fiction. I've been watching that a million times over the last 25 years almost, and I can still find something new about it. But it also showed me just how close me and this man's like styles are when it comes to films and screenwriting and the choice of music that we do, and how that influences what we put down on like the screenplay paper and what you ultimately see on screen. So boom, this was a one night only, one showing Fathom event. I don't know if they're going to do this again or what, but QT8, the first 8, if you're a Tarantino fan, see it where you can find it. Eventually, this has to be on Amazon or something, available in some type of medium. I know that when it is, I'll be getting it. Tarantino fan or not, get yourself some knowledge about this man who I call God in filmmaking, and catch this movie where you can find it, son. QT8, the first 8, y'all. Booyah. Now, before we officially wrap things up here on episode 56 of The Real Rush right here on YouTube, I would be quite remiss if I didn't mention, seeing as in, like when a big live event or pay-per-view or some shit like that comes around, I usually do mention it. And, the fact that our logo is obviously Bullet Club influence, so it's pro wrestling influence, as is this show, as I've worn a different wrestling t-shirt every single episode of this joint. But I'd be remiss if I didn't lay down something about WWE 2K20, y'all. 2K20, y'all. Yeah. WWE 2K20, y'all. And it was actually my boy, my fellow pro wrestling, oh you didn't know, brother, Jay Spaz, hit me up Friday evening. Said I should do a special review on WWE 2K20. And I think it was supposed to be a joke. Because, between us at least, because WWE 2K20 ain't been getting the best reviews, or at least it didn't the day that it dropped. And I figured, you know what, Jay Spaz? I'm going to take you up on that, I guess, challenge there, brother. So here we are, talking about WWE 2K20. Shit. It's a 2K game, so I got it. Hell, not only did I get it, I got the motherfucking Ultimate Collector's 20th Anniversary SmackDown Edition. Show it to him, son. Yeah. So, now the day that it dropped, 2K20, so many bugs and crashes and glitches and what have you, starting some shit were apparently happening to so many people that hashtag fix WWE 2K20 started hashtagging on Trender. Or started twitting. God damn. Go show you I ain't on no damn Twitter. Started trending on Twitter. I'm reading this the whole day, waiting to get home because I know that my copy is waiting for me. Going, shit, well, this don't sound too good. They were saying that the graphics were like PlayStation 2 quality, and a lot of people were actually saying that the game was straight up unplayable. So I said, alright, let me go home and play this game, because they're making it sound like it's as bad as TNA Impact that came out for the PS3 about 10 years ago or so. I played that game for like an hour once after I bought it, the night that I bought it, and I couldn't figure it out, and I never picked it back up. It's still sitting around here in the vault somewhere. But let's go back to 2K20 at hand. So I get home and I let it update, and it updated the latest patch, and maybe a lot of people were playing the pre-patch version or something. But quite honestly, I don't see any major problems with 2K20. Alright, so the graphics did look a little unpolished in some areas. Gameplay wise, or game overall wise, it's not that difficult or not that different from any of the pre-2K games. I do want to mention that Ukes, who have been developing the 2K games and the WWE games for a long time, they are no longer doing so as of this past August. So it was Visual Concepts that stepped up to the bat on that. So you could definitely tell that maybe they weren't quite up to par with what Ukes can usually deliver in a WWE video game title. But again, there were a couple of improvements that I saw, such as like in the universe mode, you can have more than one major show, or excuse me, more than two major shows be a host show for a pay-per-view. That's a definite improvement. It sucks that there isn't a Create a Championship option on it just yet, but they do say that they're going to release that on a later patch. I did notice that the 2K Central part, that's supposed to have the new Fiend, Bray Wyatt mode and shit on it, that's not up and running yet, so it looks like that's going to be coming in a later patch. A lot of people were saying that the controls were all weird and whatnot, but honestly, the layout's just a little bit different. The way a lot of people were making it sound is like that it was going to be way difficult to try to learn like this new scheme, but I picked it up in one match. And I'll admit that it was in a match of me playing Brock Lesnar versus Mike Kanellis, and Mike Kanellis did almost whoop my ass, but I still won the match. It's really not that difficult to figure out. If you played a wrestling game, you played them all. The scheme isn't that different. Yeah. Could it use some more tweaking up? I could say so. Once again, it looks like that because they put a lot more into like more modes into this game. That could be the reason for some of the downgraded graphics. I would say that the worst thing about the graphics would be Bianca Belair's awesome ponytail. It looked like a straight up like stick of doo doo sticking off of her head. It's not quite as fluid as it was last year, but other than that, it's definitely nowhere near the worst game of the century reviews that it was getting originally on Tuesday. I haven't really followed it as much since, but it doesn't seem like it's ramped up much. It does seem like the negative reviews have been watering down. Overall, y'all, it doesn't seem like there's anything that a couple of patches forthcoming can't fix up, and that's happened on a WWE title before within the last couple of years. So just fingers crossed that they'll fix a couple things in the patches and all be copacetic. But overall, I'm not upset at I still think that I got my $129 worth in getting the straight up deluxe collector's SmackDown edition of 2K20. A couple people were saying that the autograph cards that they were supposed to get, they got the cards, but they didn't get the actual autograph on the card with whoever was supposed to autograph it. I did get mine, so thank you, Edge, on that. So y'all delivered on that. So maybe there was just a bum batch or something that won out, but I'm looking forward to playing some more 2K as soon as I wrap up this motherfucking episode. So yes, that's not my bias towards towards WWE games talking here. Like, I have played some shitty wrestling games in the past, such as like we said, TNA Impact, or there was a WCW title, late 90s, early 2000s. Name escapes me. Maybe like Backstage Assault or some shit like that. There was an ECW title that you couldn't really do much with. It was just overall irksome. But yeah, this is far from anything like that. It plays just fine. Maybe I got a glitch-free copy. Let me knock on lucky Rushwood here. But overall, if you're a 2K fan, you shouldn't be disappointed. Quite honestly. And apparently this is going to be the last one that drops on is PS4 a 7th generation? Whatever. It's going to be the last one that drops on like a PS4 generation console, apparently. So that means on the next console, it's just going to be that much better. So, boom. I'm loving it. I'm loving it, y'all. I'm loving it. And that's not my fucking WWE 2K bias talking. I'm loving it. Whether y'all love it or not, that's beyond you. But hey, you want to holler at your boy on PlayStation Network, JDub_is_legend. Holler at your boy, and perhaps we can have a match. I haven't tried it out online. I'm still trying out some of the modes and stuff. Matter of fact, I did notice in some of the creator modes that some of the on-screen text like overlapped at points. So I haven't gone quite into the creator modes, like actual creative characters, and I did notice that that's where a lot of people were noticing some of their glitches as well. So maybe there's something I haven't uncovered yet, but the only thing I've been uncovering is trophies. So hell yeah, y'all. WWE 2K20. I'm loving it, so I can't wait to fucking get back to playing that shit later on tonight. But anywho, that being said, that wraps up episode 56 of The Real Rush right here on YouTube. And as always, it is at the time that I would like to remind y'all that the next monthly third Friday Bandit show is going to be coming your way on November 15th, ladies and gents. Friday, November 15th, up at the Stagecoach Theater Company in Ashburn, Virginia at 7:30 p.m. Doors open at 7 p.m. Tickets are currently available online. $12 online. There'll be $15 at the door, but once again, as always, I recommend that you go ahead and get your tickets online, because you can never tell whether or not we're going to be a sold-out show or not. You do not want to get out here now that the weather is starting to get cold. You don't want to make it all the way out to the theater just to find out that we're at full capacity and that you got to get turned away. It's happened before. It may happen again. I don't want it to happen to you. Plus, you go get your tickets online and you use the promo code JOHN, all caps, that gets you a discount off that $12. Where can you go to get your tickets for the third Friday of the month Stagecoach Bandits Improv Show online? You can get your tickets at www.stagecoachtc.com/stagecoach-bandits. Once again, that is Stagecoach, T as in Thomas, C as in Coach, .com/stagecoach-bandits. Promo code John, all caps. Wear that shit out, yo. And please tune in next week, episode 57, where next week I will have reviewed for you what we gonna have on the ticket. This is an interesting card we have coming up next week, but we kicking things off with Terminator Dark Fate. Fingers crossed that the Airbus will be playing that shit. We also gonna be having, we'll have the new Edward Norton vehicle, both starring and directed by Edward Norton, Motherless Brooklyn. Looking forward to that one. The trailer looks pretty good. We also have Harriet, Cynthia Erivo as Harriet Tubman. She's been on fire in her last couple of roles as well, so we'll see how she does. We also have Frankie, and Frankie is actually that's getting some competition vibes as well. And we also have Arctic Dogs. Yes. So we'll have those for you upcoming next week on episode 57 of The Real Rush right here on YouTube. But as always, ladies and gents, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, any shit like that for your boy, please feel free to go ahead and type those on this YouTube page where you're viewing this week's episode of The Real Rush right here, right now. For those who have subscribed to The Real Rush right here on YouTube, thank you for doing so. If you haven't done so yet, what the hell are you waiting for? You want to be the first to know when your boy drops a new episode. And please, just like you should be spreading love these days, ladies and gents, please spread the word of The Real Rush in the very same manner, which means tell your peoples about me, so that way when you hit subscribe, they can hit subscribe, and then they tell some more people, and then they hit subscribe, and keep The Real Rush rolling, yo. Keep The Real Rush rolling, yo. And don't forget also that The Real Rush does have replay value. So any movie that has come out in the last year or so, and you want to know what your boy thought about it, all you gotta do is go up to the YouTube search bar and type in quotation marks The Real Rush, followed by, outside of quotation marks, the title of the movie that you're looking for, and then boom! Instant movie review on demand from your boy here at The Real Rush, because The Real Rush has you covered for life, son! And as always, you can follow your boy on Instagram for my live movie check-ins as they occur. And that is at JDubChampion, hashtag The Real Rush. And for The Real Rush, ladies and gents, I am your boy JDub. Thank you once again for watching The Real Rush right here on YouTube. Remember, when you're at the movies, don't be doing all the talking. Don't be doing all the looking at the smartphone. Put the smartwatches on dim. I guarantee you that any conversations, any messages and shit, and even the time, all that stuff will be waiting for you after the movie's all said and done. I guarantees it. Enjoy yourselves at the movies, ladies and gentlemen. Have fun, y'all. Love J-Dub. And